This is my grandma's hot pot. She was from Lancashire in England. She made this all the time when I was young. My cousins remember it. It was like a go-to meal. Simple meal, simple ingredients, not a ton of spices, but it's really good. It is absolutely the definition of comfort food. So let's make it right now. Right off the bat, we need to get our ingredients together. 1 carrot, bing, chopped up. We'll put that aside. 1 onion, bing, and we're going to put that aside till we need them, of course. Now next up is potatoes. I took out 4, and I should say that I'm actually doing a double batch from the recipe. So I've peeled them, which I don't normally do with potatoes. Peel them, put them in cold water till I need them, and on to the next step. Now the recipe calls for a pound of beef cut real small. I don't ever remember my grandma doing it. My older cousins seem to. I don't. She always made it with hamburger. So that's what we're going to do. 2 pounds of hamburger should make us a nice double batch. If you want to make it with stewing beef or beef, go ahead and try it. Maybe one day I will try it. But this is what I remember, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to cook all this hamburger up so it's nice and brown like that. And then take it off the element. As you can see, there's not a whole lot of grease or anything, but that's going to play a role a little bit down the road. It's not going to hurt the meal at all. If anything, I think that little bit of fat actually helps with flavor. So to that we need our peas. We have 2 cans of peas. I've opened them up, and we're just going to put the liquid in with the ground beef. So I got the 1 can out, put it in, we'll stir it around. It's looking a little soupy. It's going to look a lot soupier by the time we're done. So here's can number 2 of peas. All that water's in, and now to it we're going to add 2.5 cups of water. Mix that all around. That's pretty liquidy, I think. To this we are to add 2 teaspoons of Bovril, which is a beef meat paste. Well, I couldn't find it at the time. I have since. Instead, we're going to use beef bouillon cubes. So this isn't pure recipe, but it worked out just fine. I thought anyway. The taste was bang on. And we're also going to throw in 3 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. By the way, we also need 2 teaspoons of minced garlic. So you can see how the fat from the ground beef is kind of cooling off. Well, that's because dummy me put in cold water instead of warm water. So keep that in mind if you do make it. Well, into our roasting pan we go. We're dumping it all, and I know it looks watery. It will thicken up over time. It needs to be soupy like that, because it's going to be in the oven for quite a while, and we don't want it to dry out too much. To it, the onions and carrots that we chopped, and our potatoes. Hey, this pretty well fills the pan up. It's okay, because it will reduce a little bit as it cooks. Not too shabby. So we'll give it a mix, combine everything around. Last but not least, we're going to dump 2 cans of peas into the mix, stir it around so it's nice and combined. That's it. I'm going to put a lid on it, 375, and this is after 1 hour. You can see when I take the lid off, you got to give it a stir to make sure nothing's sticking. You can see it's still pretty liquidy. This is hour number 2. Looking a little better, starting to smell really good. And this is hour number 3. We still have 1 more hour to go. Now we got to put the top on it. So with the assistance of my daughter, she insisted on making the crust. If you've got a store-bought pie crust, you can use that. The last ingredient going in is cornstarch. I had the last of a box, about 1.5 tablespoons. Mix it with cold water. This time it is good, the cold water. And it mixes all in with the vegetables and meat, and that's going to help thicken everything up during the last hour. So over to my daughter. She's going to roll out some dough real quick. There you go, just like that, and bring it on over to our pot, and ever so carefully get that puppy into the pan. That doesn't have to look perfect. This one wasn't perfect, and maybe that's the beauty of this hot pot. It doesn't have to be. Like I said, you can use a pie shell. I don't think my grandma ever did, not that I ever recall. I don't think she would have spent the money, to be honest. Now this is my rendition, so I'm going to crack an egg, beat it up, and we're going to do an egg wash on the top, just to let it be a little extra goldeny browny. And of course this doesn't take too long. You just want to make sure that you do cover the whole pie crust. And the last part of this dish is you need vents so that it doesn't explode. And here we are, the finished product. That, my friends, is my grandmother's hot pot. It's really good. You can see it's not a whole lot of effort, and it's a great twist on a great comfort food. So I hope you enjoyed this. Give me a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. If you make this, leave me a comment below. Let me know how it turns out for you. And as always, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.